One minute, y'all. I gotta reset my camera. It does this every day. You wouldn't even believe it. And there we go. I ain't gonna lie. Monday Night Raw was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. Yeah, I know. I usually don't agree with these titles, but hey, they could have booed my boy Dom out the building, not approve of him at all. But nah, they was in there. They was cheering for Dom. Um, they was doing that little away, 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 30 Dom, 30 Dom, and stuff like that. I don't know why they do that. Ain't that like a Canada thing? And they just doing it. It's whatever. Anyways, let's get right into it.
Back at it again with another video. So, the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania tonight was truly fantastic. I would dare to even say this is probably one of the better recent Monday Night Raws after WrestleMania that I've seen. There have been some good ones, but this may be one of the best ones we've seen in the past few years. Considering how WrestleMania left a lot of fans kind of disgruntled, how things ended for night two between John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I will say this show definitely was the reset they needed, because this was great from top to bottom. The wrestling was good. The stories that they're setting up are interesting, and you're invested in some heel turns, some returns from people being injured, some re-debuts. Like, this was truly fantastic in all directions. Everybody cooked up tonight. This was great. This was truly great. This is what they needed to bounce back.
Yo, shout out to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They lost their championship to Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. They never should have did that, and then they corrected it, so that's great. Becky Lynch turned heel. I knew it was a matter of time before she turned heel, cause Seth Rollins turned heel, and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is very high up on Becky Lynch. They like talk all the time. He giving her advice and stuff, so that just makes sense. We'll see what happens there.
From the recent criticism of what happened last night at WrestleMania, this was great. We're gonna start from top to bottom. This was such a good damn show, and they started off the show with John Cena. John Cena, he comes out there once again like WrestleMania with no fancy lights or anything like that on the Titantron. It just says John Cena is playing his music. He comes out there and he's actually getting a lot of cheers. Like, people are loving them some John Cena as the 17-time world champion. So he comes out there and then he hands the ring announcer a note, and the ring announcer reads it. He's like, I've just been informed that what I had said as John came out here was incorrect. Let me reintroduce him. And basically said, the greatest of all time, the 17-time world champion, the last real world champion, John Cena. He re-announced his name. Crowd is cheering. He got a lot of pyro. They gave him damn near the whole pyro budget for the rest of Monday Night Raw. And I like the fact that he honestly...
Watch 100 plus channels of live TV, your favorite sports, movies, and more with no hidden fees or long-term contracts. Plus, get up to 6 accounts.
Just kept up the persona. He didn't switch it up. He basically is like, man, what I did last night was for myself. It wasn't for any of you guys. You guys have sat up there and been rude and disrespectful to me for years, and now you want to cheer and have this moment. No, this is for me. You know, at one point the crowd, he was telling the crowd that none of you guys said you were sorry. None of you guys apologized for how you treated me, and the crowd chanted, we're not sorry, you know. Like, this crowd, to be honest with you, it was a lot of back and forth. Obviously, the crowd, there were people there that was happy to see John Cena as the 17-time world champion. But I will give credit to John trying to quell those people that was cheering him, because it was he started to heal it up. He started to heal it up really well in the sense of he would sit up there and he was, saying, I'm taking this championship home. The same championship that the greats like Triple H, Stone Cold, Randy Orton, CM Punk. This title right here, I'm taking this home for good, and I am going to be the last greatest champion of my era, and y'all can figure out what y'all gonna do with the rest. He even had on a screen, it showed the number of dates he had left. And as he was talking about the dates that he has already appeared for, it started to count down. And essentially, I think he only has 27 dates left. So since he only has 27 dates left, that means the matches that he's going to be involved in are going to be very obviously calculated on certain PLEs, which also means he's not going to be on every show every week. And it also means that, it's going to, the timetable for potentially, if he does drop it, which I do think he will drop it, is going to be, they're going to have to really calculate this and kind of really figure out, or maybe they already have it figured out on who he's going to face, who's going to be the opponent to at some point beat him. But basically, he's doing this countdown to let it be known, once it hits 0, that's it for you guys. It's done. It's over. I'm taking this home. So he's basically just letting it be known what he plans on doing. And then he tells people, I want to make this mention before he gets into talking about telling people to take out their phones. He mentions Cody Rhodes. He said he beat their guy, Cody Rhodes, and the crowd was booing Cody. They were definitely booing Cody, and he's like, you guys are awful. You guys are harsh. This is the guy that y'all were clamoring for to finish his story last year, and now you guys are just booing him. You booed him on Friday, cheered him, then booed him at WrestleMania, and this is your guy that you've been champion. And I beat him. He was outclassed, outmatched, and out-wrestled. And it was a very interesting thing to say, because they were still booing his name, which is, it's kind of crazy to hear that, which leads me to believe, and I'm going to get in probably some fantasy booking, but it leads me to believe that they may want to do something with Cody's character relatively soon. So after that, he talks about, hey, I'm going to do something nice for you guys. I want you guys to take out your phones, and I want you guys to take a picture, because this is going to be the last time you guys get a chance to see this champion ever again. This is it. So make sure you take this picture and make sure you cherish this moment. But he's not realizing that there's somebody behind him. And he was sitting there talking about, basically nobody's going to be taking this from me. You can try, but there's nobody out there that's going to take this title from me. Randy Orton did say, he does want a title opportunity, if Cody was able to get past John Cena, right? And he was in Randy's court. Randy was in Cody's corner.
Pi is a free browser extension that blocks ads on your favorite sites. You install it once and then you can use the internet freely, and you honestly...
I'm kind of leaning towards maybe not having him show up, because it's only 3 weeks. It's literally only 3 weeks away. So I don't know if you have him show up. Maybe you do. I'm not sure. But the thing I'm kind of leaning towards, maybe, and I don't know if people would think this is too soon to do it, but it would be a way to kind of get the feud going, because I don't see Randy Orton winning. I think it's going to be a great match, but Randy Orton's not winning. And I don't see Randy Orton losing clean. So this is just a hypothetical. What if Cody Rhodes is gone? For these next few weeks, you don't see Cody. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll find out on SmackDown. But for these next few weeks, you don't see Cody. And Cody maybe feels some type of way. maybe Cody realizes maybe John Cena was right. He would feel some type of way that Randy Orton is going out there. He's getting all this love. They're not booing Randy Orton because they're definitely not going to boo Randy Orton against John Cena. They're going to be people that cheer John Cena, but he is going to get cheered like crazy. Maybe he feels some type of way about the fans. And maybe he feels some type of way about Randy Orton going out there and getting his title opportunity and trying to take that moment, take that away, even though that should be his. Maybe he comes back and maybe potentially cost Randy Orton. That could be a thing. I don't know. We'll see if he does show up on Friday. But they must do something with his character because he's getting booed. Even though he lost, he's getting booed. And they may, depending on how things go going forward these next few weeks, anytime they mention Cody, it's going to be interesting to see if they change up his character at some point. Because I do think that Randy and Cody feud, you can cook that this year. And I just don't see Randy Orton going heel anytime soon because, I mean, we all know that he's kind of, at the end of his career, towards the end of his career. So nobody's trying to boo Randy Orton. So I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what they do with that. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about maybe Randy Orton and Cody having some type of interaction after Backlash. Maybe Cody is the reason why Randy doesn't end up getting the championship. Or it don't even have to be Cody going heel. It can be a situation where Cody loses his temper. He comes out there and he attacks maybe John Cena, and John Cena wins by disqualification or something like that, and it costs Randy the match. You can do something like that. So I don't know. We will see. But great way to start off the show. Next, we had a rematch between Becky and Lyra versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. And they had a pretty good women's tag team title match. Honestly, I think I kind of enjoyed tonight's match better than the match that they had at WrestleMania. And it was a situation where Lyra ended up getting back into the ring. Liv ended up hitting her finisher on Lyra, and Liv ended up pitting Lyra to become the new women tag teams champions. I think they're 4-time tag team champions now, and she ended up getting the victory. And you can see Becky was frustrated because she wasn't involved in the part of the match. Lyra got pinned, which is kind of crazy. Your women's IC champion got pinned. So,
bro, she wasn't defending
after that, Becky picks up Lyra, picks her up. She hugs her, and you can tell. I was like, you can tell where this is going because they cut off Liv's music. She's trying to comfort her, console her, and that's when Becky Lynch hits Lyra with a clothesline. She hits Lyra with the clothesline. Lyra's confused, like, how could this be? Then Becky gets back in the ring, starts beating her up, then hits her with her finishing move, gets out of the ring, goes back, hits her with the finisher move again, and then crowd's chanting one more time because there's some sick individuals in Vegas. She gets back in the ring, hits her with the finisher one more time, and she walks out. And Becky has turned on Lyra. Lyra's story with Becky is her mentor, and she has turned on her, which means we may get a title match, most likely probably at Backlash, between Lyra and Becky, potentially for the IC title. So that was pretty cool to see because I know some people were feeling some type of way, Becky coming back and winning that, but obviously there's some story to it, and it kind of would make sense because Bayley got storyline injured. Someone attacked her. I'm willing to bet it was probably Becky Lynch that attacked Bayley. So we'll see if that storyline ends up getting answered, but I like that heel turn. Next, there was a segment between the New Day and Alpha Academy. They actually had Maxine kind of come out there and cut like a manager type promo on a New Day. She actually sounded pretty comfortable goading them into a match for the titles. And as the match was about to happen, potentially, they got a ref out there. All of a sudden, the lights go out, and then you see the Titantron light up, and you see Rusev's name pop up. Rusev is back. Rusev Day is once again in WWE. Crowd chanting Rusev Day. He looks good out there. He comes down to the ring. New Day get the hell up out of Dodge, and Otis and Tozawa, they get packed up for their troubles, and you love to see it. Rusev looks great out there. It sucks that Otis and Tozawa got packed up in the process, but it was great to see Rusev. Rusev is back in the WWE.
I thought the Hardy Boys was
Next, a really good match that I don't think a lot of people were expecting.
They were saying
Io came out there to talk about, how that win at WrestleMania was the greatest win in her career, and the crowd was showing her love, and she was happy, and that she's the best in the women's division. And then all of a sudden, Stephanie Valcour comes out, and she's the women NXT champion. She comes out there, and basically they set up the match to see who's the better champion. And man, they had a fantastic match. Great back and forth. This was really, really good. Good women's wrestling. The crowd was into it. Of course, we wish Booker T was there to see his girl do his favorite move to hit the I think it's called the Devil's Kiss or something like that, and to hit the yeah. I know he wished he could have been a part of that. That was actually pretty cool. But the match ended up in a disqualification. That's how I was expecting, because both of these women, are at the top of their division on their respective brands. I want to say Roxanne comes out there to attack what's her name? Stephanie. Roxanne comes out there to attack Stephanie, and then Julia comes out there and she ends up attacking Io. So now they're brawling with them, and then that's when Rhea comes out there to kind of get everyone out the ring. There was a nice little standoff between Rhea and Julia, but ultimately no hands was thrown. And as Rhea is, picking up Io's title, she hands it to her, but she says, "I'm coming back for this." And there's that mutual respect. And it looks like Rhea has some type of shiner under her eye. Don't know how it happened, but I mean, it was a stiff match that all three of those ladies had at WrestleMania. So that was a cool moment. Great moment for the crowd to see Stephanie Valcour on the main roster. She's definitely going to be coming up to the main roster relatively soon at some point once she's done in NXT. And it was actually pretty dope, bro. They actually did their thing out there. The ladies killed it. Great wrestling. Next, we got to talk about my boy Jay coming out there, getting his celebratory moment. Jay comes out there through the crowd. Everybody's eating with him. It was a dope moment. They even did the crowd chanting one more time. They ran back the music for him. It was a dope, great moment. They even they had a nice, cool, emotional promo package of Jay's upbringing from where he started to where he ended up at. And I thought that was actually pretty dope. WWE's great with the video packages and stuff. And Jay basically just said, your champ is here now. I'm saying? I'm going to be a fighting champion. I appreciate y'all having my back through all of this. And, I made Gunther tap out. There was "you tapped out" chants, and Michael Cole was basically talking about how Gunther did tap out. That will play up later on. Next, you hear Sami Zayn comes out there. Sami Zayn comes out there, and he wants to congratulate Jay. He's happy for Jay. Jay deserved that moment, and he wanted to come out there and show him some love. He wasn't at WrestleMania. He wasn't sure if he was going to even be in Vegas, but he had to make sure his right man, Jay Uso, got the love and admiration that he deserved. So at that point, they both go to the opposite turnbuckles. They're eating with the crowd. Everybody lit. Sammy gets off the turnbuckle. And throughout that little interaction, he's looking at the title. And he's looking at Jay. And you can kind of get like the crowd was like, wait, what's gonna happen? Because I mean, this is the Monday Night Raw after Mania. Crazy shit happened. They were kind of like, whoa, what's happening here? What's going on? But then Jimmy's music hit and he comes out there because basically Jay doesn't know. He's just still eating, but Sammy's right behind him. Like as Jay's on the turnbuckle, he's in the ring, just kind of looking at him. It looked like maybe he was gonna attack, but they didn't do anything because Jimmy music hit. Jimmy runs out there, and then they're all hugging each other and yeeting in the ring. I do not think that was by accident. I do think they are setting up something. They're setting up something that was definitely a tease. Great tease at that. Love what they're doing with that. We may get Sammy versus Jey Uso at some point relatively soon. The question is when. So I thought that was great. Now, how they did this was so good. We come back from commercial break and you see Gunther basically talking to Michael Cole like, you got so much to say. You talking real tough, talking about I'm tapped out. He's like, yeah, well, Gunther, you didn't tap out. Like, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything disrespectful to you. So that's when Gunther comes around the announce table, knocks Michael Cole's glasses and headset off. And then at that point, he's trying to put Michael Cole in a chokehold because he doesn't like what Michael Cole was saying, even though it was the truth. And that's when Pat McAfee gets involved and he basically hits Gunther. He stands up for his friend. He hits Gunther to get him off of Michael Cole, which I thought was very dope. So at that point, I want to say, and this is after Gunther shoves Pat McAfee. Gunther shoves Pat McAfee earlier because he's trying to stick up for Michael Cole, so he ends up going over there hitting him. As Pat McAfee turns his back, that's when Gunther grabs him, puts him in the chokehold, and he doesn't let go. Pat McAfee's homies, as a part of his show and stuff, they're trying to get into the mix. Security's blocking them. Pat McAfee is going to Dreamland, and pretty much Gunther ends up choking out Pat McAfee, and they finally break it up. They get him to walk off, and Michael Cole's trying to make sure that he's good. That was a great segment because it really showed Gunther, his mind is not where it's at. He's an emotional wreck because he let Jay not only beat him, but tap him out. And he can't live with that. So he's going after people that he know he can bully and try to disrespect. And Michael Cole was checking on Pat McAfee in the back after the commercial break. And I want to say Adam Pearce is like, bro, look, you can just chill for the rest of the night, take the rest of the night off. And Michael Cole's like, no, I'm not going to take the rest of the night off. I'm not going to sit there and let a bully try to dictate what we say. It's our job to commentate. So I'm going back out there and I'm going to do my damn job. And you can hear the crowd chanting Michael Cole's name. You love to see it. Maybe back in the day when Cole was annoying, we would have loved to see Cole get packed up. But now people love Cole so much. That was such a dope moment. And I liked that even in the next match, which was the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio and I want to say Penta, he was talking about that before the match really started. Like, no, there needs to, if we just sit up there and start getting attacked for voicing our opinions on wrestlers, that's going to be a problem. So don't know where they're going with that story, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Then obviously we have Penta versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC Championship. Dominic getting some huge love from the crowd. What a crazy time we live in. I want to say towards the end of the match, we get a returning JD. Now Penta is able to pretty much dispatch Finn Balor, but then as he goes to the top rope, JD comes out of nowhere, pushes him, and that's how Dominic's able to go to the top rope, hit the frog splash, and get the pin on Penta, and JD helps Dominic Mysterio retain the IC title as they celebrate up the ramp. You can see Finn Balor's confused because I don't think he knew JD was going to return. He didn't know the game plan. And JD's like, hey, bro, what's good? Let's celebrate. Liv comes out there with Raquel with their tag titles. And the only person that's not really too happy is Finn Balor. It does look like at some point it's all going to implode, and Finn Balor probably is going to be the one to get potentially kicked out of the group. Potentially, we're going to see how they play that out. But I like the story that they're telling there, because even with JD being there and helping Dominic retain, Finn didn't like that. And last but not least, we got to talk about the main event segment. They went longer tonight. They went almost 3 hours, and I'm glad they did. So you got Seth Rollins coming out there looking like a yellow highlighter with Paul Heyman now. He comes out there, and the crowd's doing the chants, the singing. And Seth does his, he's a revolutionary, a visionary, but he's saying it in such a different way. You can tell, yep, he's gone heel now. The way he's talking, the way he's delivering the dialogue, so methodical, so slow, so serious. But before he can even really finish what he was talking about him winning the main event of WrestleMania and all this other stuff, that's when CM Punk music hit. And the one thing I love about CM Punk, which makes him one of my favorite wrestlers that they have right now today, is the fact that when you do CM Punk wrong, there's no talking. He don't need a microphone. He's just going to go out there, wrap his wrist up, and whoop your ass. It's always on site with CM Punk, and I fucking love it. He comes out there, no talking, just wrapping up his wrist with tape, and he goes into the ring, and they start fighting Seth and CM Punk. And at one point, CM Punk is stomping a mud hole out of Seth Rollins, and then he turns around to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is basically like, you made me do this, all this other stuff, and he's going to get his hands on Paul Heyman, but that's when Seth Rollins gouges out his eyes from the back, while his back was turned, and as CM Punk is on the ground, kneeling, that's when he get hit with the curb stomp. So after he gets hit with the curb stomp, Paul Heyman gets on the microphone and he talks about your new reigning, defending, undisputed, future champion, basically bigging up Seth Rollins as this new visionary, new version, a better version of the tribal chief or whatever you want to call it. He just hyping it up as he has Seth Rollins' foot is on CM Punk's neck, just kind of grinding it into the mat. All of a sudden, as the credits are rolling and everything, they set this up perfectly. Like, this is the guy now. Paul Heyman is invested in him. He's going to be his new tribal chief, sort of, if you want to say it like that. All of a sudden, you think, well, that's it. I know the crowd was chanting OTC. I'm like, hey, Roman's on a yacht somewhere. He ain't worried about it. Nope. Apparently, Roman Reigns ran out of PTO time because Roman Reigns' music hit and Roman Reigns comes out there. Huge pop. Was not expecting that. Roman Reigns comes out there. He runs to the ring, hits Seth Rollins with a beautiful spear, and then he ends up hitting Paul Heyman with the Superman punch. Crowd going crazy. He takes off his shirt. He's ready to go and hit Paul Heyman with another spear. Does his little ooh ah. And as he runs, he gets hit with a spear. By somebody in the black hoodie. We don't know who it is. It's fucking Braun Breaker. Holy fucking shit. I was surprised. There was holy shit chants. Braun Breaker ends up getting him out of the ring. Roman Reigns tries to fight back, but then Braun Breaker runs all around the ring and ends up hitting a devastating spear to Roman Reigns through the barricade. Then Seth is like, get him in the ring. Seth tells Braun Breaker to get Roman Reigns in the ring. Braun Breaker gets Roman Reigns in the ring, and he ends up hitting CM Punk with a curb stomp, and then he ends up hitting Roman Reigns with the curb stomp. And now we have some new alliance or some new faction. I wouldn't say it's a faction now, but right now it's an alliance between Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Seth freaking Rollins, and that's how the show ends. Beautiful. Fucking fantastic. This was great. Them bringing up Braun Breaker in this situation, putting him in this main event scene to be in line with Paul Heyman and Seth, it makes sense. If you guys remember, when Paul Heyman made a venture to NXT, he had a lot of glowing praise for Braun Breaker. They've been planning it. Anytime they interact with each other, Paul Heyman looks at Braun Breaker with fondness. Now it's paying off. And this is really great for Braun Breaker because even though he lost the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, he didn't get pinned. And this is going to put him in the main event scene because he's now with the main event guys. This was fantastic. Braun Breaker is going to be Seth Rollins' muscle. He's going to have his back and he's going to be vicious, which also leads me to believe, I ain't going to lie to you, we may get a tag team match at Backlash between Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, versus an alliance that you wouldn't think would be a thing. CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And their alliance is only because they hate Seth and they hate Paul Heyman. This works out so fucking good. They hate them so much that they will put their differences aside to make sure they destroy them. If that's going to be the match at Backlash, which you got to make that as one of the co-main events for Backlash, because obviously the main event is going to be John Cena versus Randy Orton. You have that as the co-main event. What? That sounds like a fire matchup, and I hope they do it. Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman in their corner.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.